Hi everyone, Bob Wells here, and this is the real star of the show, my best buddy Cody. Welcome to our new channel. We've been promising you videos from the old channel for a long time, and we're just now finally getting them up. That's what we have for you today. I hope you enjoy them, and let's join that video in progress. Today's video is from David. He has lived in his Prius for the last year and a half, and your first thought is, how could anybody live in such a tiny space? I mean, a Prius is tiny. It's bigger than you think, and space is really very, very relative. That was Einstein, that everything is pretty relative. And so if you live in a mansion, then a 2,500 square foot home seems tiny, doesn't it? But if you live in a 2,500 square foot home, a 1,000 square foot home seems really small. But what if you live in a 1,000 square foot home and then you get kicked out and you got to live in a van? That seems really tiny too. And yet you get used to it and it becomes very comfortable. I live in an extended van and it's a huge amount of space. I've never regretted the amount of space I have. So it's all very relative. And as we're going to see, they make a very good use of the tiny amount of space they have, and it's very comfortable. Think about someone traveling across the country on a bicycle, and everything they own fits on a bicycle. Or compare it to someone backpacking the Appalachian Trail for months at a time. To them, a Prius is gigantic. More space than they can even imagine. They don't know what to do with it. They can just keep buying stuff and putting it in. It's so big. So it's all relative, and if you're a true minimalist, I mean a true minimalist, not someone who's just playing around with it, the Prius is very large and all the space you're going to need, and you're going to see that these people are carrying around an amazing amount of stuff, and everything they need, it's what you need, and just a little bit of what you want, and so you can make it work. Only in America would a 400 square foot home be considered a tiny house. In 99.99% of the people on the planet today, 400 square foot would be a big house, would be an average sized house. Even in developed countries, they're much smaller than ours. So it's all relative, and yes, you can make it work. And I believe that once you've seen what they've done and the huge advantages to living and traveling in a Toyota Prius, that you will reconsider and think, maybe that is doable. It may or may not be for you. It isn't for me, not long term. But for short term, it very well could be. I would consider traveling in a Prius during the summer and living in my trailer in the winter. I would give that some serious thought. It's that convincing. Okay, well that's enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video, and I believe you will be pretty darned impressed by what they've done and how comfortable they can be. So let's go.
A big 34-foot motorhome, had a huge solar system, incredible wood fireplace, composting toilet. I insulated for hundreds of hours. The only time I've ever missed it was the other day when I thought, I wish I had it to show off the fireplace. But anyhow, so I know what being in a bigger vehicle is. And I was in that for 4 winters, and it was great. Wonderful little cabin, and I decided I wanted to travel, and I didn't want to pay $6 a gallon and that much more hassle to find parking place. So the first thing that attracted me about a Prius was when I read that you could set the temperature, interior temperature, and that the engine would auto start to recharge the big battery, so you could have air conditioning for heat that would come off mostly off the big battery, and you could have the air conditioning or heat for a minute or two, an hour of gas engine running. Varies a little bit in different conditions, but basically you can be in it safely and put it in this auto start position and have heat and air conditioning. What I've been seeing lately in this kind of weather, I'm using about a half a gallon a day of gas to some morning heat, some afternoon heat to town and back. So that's pretty amazing right there. And of course you've got a smaller space to heat, you've got a smaller space to cool, so that's great. So I got into it mainly for that reason. Then the second reason was when I heard that there's 10.5 feet from the back to the front. So plenty of sleeping space, and depending on how one does it, one can get wide enough for a pretty wide person. That was mine. And then of course the gas mileage, which was not really the most important thing, but I drove from Minnesota down here 2,600 miles. I heated a few hours a night. I was in some 0-degree temperature. I cooked, 3 times a day. $90 for the whole month for gas.
Wow.
So that's pretty phenomenal. So some of the things that the choices that I made, I have a Yeti cooler that I love, and by now I figure it's way paid for. Those are the super easy ones. Costs $250, but saves 2 bags of ice a week for me, so they eventually pay off. My cooking and my sleeping are the two most important things to me, and that's what makes me feel like I'm on a retired guy adventure. I'm seeing the world. I'm having a great time. As long as I have a nice bed, as long as I can cook, I don't feel homeless, which I otherwise am. So that makes a difference between homelessness and adventure to me. Is like good bed and being able to cook. So the bedding is pretty obvious. I tried a bunch of camping mattresses, and I ended up with the REI house model, which is just fine. It's great. And then I got an old Eddie Bauer down bag, a zillion degrees below off of eBay. And then I got this really interesting sleeping thing that a lot of people would like. They call them a quilt bag. And somebody decided, well, why do we have a bottom on our down bag? Because we just lay on it and squash it and we don't get insulation. So they decided to have the bottom open and have straps so that it snaps to an air mattress. And then you can take this one, it's called a quilt bag. You can use this one as an open quilt. You can use it as a rectangle bag, or you can use it as a mummy. And you can open and close the end. You can unzip the little zipper here. You can have it, open, but just for your feet. Really versatile things. So right now I'm on top of the down with this on top of that. There's only been a couple times when it was so cold that I had the big down inside of the little down, and I sweated. But so that's my bed choice, and I'm happy with that. I have my fold-up bike that I just love. That's the toy. That's the toy part of feeling like I have a real life. So I'm out in that. I'm a little sloppy since I've been here, but most of the time 2 hours a day, and it replaces six kinds of medication for me. I do it 2 hours every day. Don't miss more than a couple days. Blood pressure's good, sugar's good.
Can you pull it out and show it to us, or is that awkward? I mean, don't uncase it. Don't uncase it. That'll take too long.
No, it's easy. I've got it figured out, so it's pretty easy. And the interesting thing, living in a small space, it made me continually think about, how to get better flow, how to get, stuff that I really don't need, how to get the stuff I really need in there. And right now I have this wonderful flow. People say, well, I need a van because I need to stand up. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. But in fact, when I'm sitting in my seat, I can reach everything, and I don't need to stand up. I'll go outside if I have to stand up. So personally, I don't miss that aspect. So learning to pack things quickly and easily and not getting frustrated, that just takes a while, and everybody has that, goes through that. This is a Dahan bike, which is pretty much the favorite. It goes up pretty fast.
Oh my.
Wow.
I think it pedals great. Because it's 20 inches, it's going to be more effort than like a 26 inch. But I'm happy with it. If anybody wants to try it, they're welcome to at some point or later.
Wow.
So then I get these occasional things I can't pass up the price on, right? Do I really need them? This might be one that goes. But great solution for a shovel. Sturdy and hard, so we'll see. One of those things, okay, I got it 4 months ago, I haven't used it yet. So am I going to get rid of it in 6 months? I might.
Just need to go north a little bit.
Yeah.
What's that?
Just go north a little bit.
I came from north. That's why I had it. I came from Minnesota and I went through a little bit of snow. So there's that stuff. There's so many little cubby holes. I still have room for things if I want, and the trunk space is a decent trunk space. Cubby holes everywhere. I could put more stuff back in. On mine, when I got it, I took out all the seats but the drivers, thinking, oh, I need every square inch I can get. I found out after a while that no, as I got rid of stuff, I don't need all the seats out, and I did in fact want at least somewhere to take one passenger. So I put the bench seat back, and then put back one of the backs of the other seat. So I have some seats back, but I could take those out again. Who knows? As it is, I've got enough storage underneath things. There's a story to this, but this was a table that I used for 25 years to make pottery, and it's 2-inch thick solid teak. It's about 1/5 of a big table, and it's ended up on here. So it's really fun for me. I have this nostalgic piece of incredible wood next to me that I made maybe 100,000 pieces of pottery on. So that's great. So my cooking, and I went through, and you know, I could go back to some of the propane things, but I tried all the propane and butane stuff, and it all works. But I was really happy to figure out I could in fact cook safely and easily inside the car. So that's where I ended up with the induction cooker. And my induction cooker, because it goes through the inverter, it goes through the 12 volt, ultimately is controlled by the big battery, so it's pretty efficient. But certainly one could do, you could do this in any vehicle, you just have to run the engine all the time instead of a third of the time like I do, but one could. So that's my cooking. So in the morning I'm sitting in the seat, and I reach over there under the center and I pull this out, and I pull out my coffee maker, pour some water in the pan, and if I pull up at Starbucks in the morning and use their Wi-Fi, I can have my coffee ready before I could get it going in there and standing in line. And then another real important part of the cooking for me is having a pressure cooker that's designed for that. So now we're talking, and even if this is another vehicle or however what one might use an induction if they did, you're going to save 2/3 of the, at least half, 2/3 of the fuel usage for whatever powers. Well, propane too. If you use a pressure cooker, you're going to cook 3 times faster on a propane burner too. So pressure cookers are great. What else? Sue-Ann has more of them, but I have the little panels. I had a big system on my motorhome, so I thought, oh, now I know how to do it. I'm going to put it on the Prius. And I quickly realized that the Prius is so efficient, it might be the most efficient gas generator on the planet. So I don't need the solar. I've been rethinking that since I've been down here, because in fact I might save 75 cents a day on gas just for cooking. So I might put 100 watt on. I don't know. I haven't decided. But
How would you put it on?
I would either do a suitcase one, or I might do a flat panel, a stick-on of some kind. I could put the roof rack on. When I got my Prius, I had a big kayak on it, and I had a bike that stuck out on a big rack, and it killed the mileage. I was getting low 30s, and once I took that off, now I'm back up to, you know, upper 40s and low 50s on the road pretty consistently. So my hope is to not interrupt the aerodynamics. I sit in at night, I might go to Starbucks or Home Depot or somewhere with good Wi-Fi. I'll sit in my seat, and my little tablet, I have it velcroed up to the visor, and I put the seat back, and there's movie night. And you know, a little tablet, but when it's this close, it's, you know, works fine for me. That's all I can think of.
Did you buy it new?
What's that?
Did you buy this new?
I bought it used as a salvage, and I said I would never buy a salvage vehicle, and I found this guy that all he's done since the second year of Prius is rebuild salvage stuff. So he's got a whole garage of 6 mechanics, 3 alignment guys, rooms full of engines, body parts. So he showed me how he did it. I thought, okay, I can buy from this guy. So I did buy this one salvage.
Where do you do that? Do you have a website?
Yeah, Auto Be Yours in Indiana. He always has a few of them for sale. It's a little scary because he shows the before and after. You see when this like totally crunched, and then it looks brand new.
Does it work out to be a pretty good price?
Yeah, I mean, I paid. This is an 06 with 102,000 when I bought it, and I paid 6,000. Could have been 2, maybe 3 more. Certainly 3 more if it was a dealer. You know. So yeah, that was a good price, and I haven't had problems because of it. The previous owner had gotten it it had been rebuilt at 35,000 miles, and he got it right after that, drove it to the 106, and didn't have a problem. So hopefully that means it has collision problems, if it doesn't have by now, it's not bad.
How many miles do you have on it now?
Now I have 128, I think, so in 18 months. Yeah. Somebody else want to?
Have you had to do anything with the battery?
I guess I could take questions. What?
You know, I don't know anything about them, but something about the battery's got to be replaced at 100,000 or...
No. The Priuses have really withstood the test of time, and they've been around since before 2000 in Japan. And the batteries are holding up 400,000 miles regularly, certainly more than most transmissions. Yeah, when they first came out, it was $5,000 to replace the battery. Now you can find really competent people rebuilding them, get a good rebuild for $1,000 installed. So that's not an issue in my mind.
Do you know if they make the tent screen, I don't know what you call what the brand name is, to go on the back like they do on the vans and the trucks?
I have a tent that I put on the back. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, it goes over the hatch.
Yep,
and
yep.
leave
I
the
have
back
that,
open.
and I used it until I put these screens on. I should talk about these. In Suan, I ended up with almost the exact process for a screen. Velcro. And this adds some tint, which is really nice for stealth. So when I have these on all four windows, it adds some tint at night. But they work great. These have been on for a whole year. There's a little loosening there. Maybe it could be a little worked on, but basically it held up well. And I found out on mine, the Velcro adhesive doesn't like a lot of plastic. But if I put the Gorilla duct tape on first, that sticks well to the plastic, and then the Velcro adhesive likes the Gorilla duct tape. I don't know about the other duct tapes. So it's a whole year and it's doing all right. I could tighten it a little or check it, but on this car, on the Prius, it happens to catch most of both rubber seals, so it's nice and tight. And you know, I preach getting rid of things that you don't really need. And here I am with my splitting axe, my garden tools. But you know, some stuff you're just like, I can't let go of that yet. So I have my favorite splitting axe.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff I didn't need. I don't need 6 pairs of pants, you know, 4. I'm down to 4. I could probably go down to 2. I don't need 8 tops, you know. I didn't need a down jacket because I went with a, you know, underwear, good top, down vest, and another down sweat. So I've got layers, so I don't need the biggest down coat. I want to get onto them. So my solution for curtains, and I went through a few temps. The last one here, who knows, it might change. Black towels with buttonholes sewn in them, and they hook on 3M hooks. And I can't always find a hole at night. So I have those for all the windows. So that's my current curtain solution, and that allows me to have multi-use. Towel, of course. And I tend to, during the day, I tend to try to make everything black. So if I stop, I'm just super careful. It's my home. I'll cover this with one of the towels. I'll cover everything, so all you see is black inside. And I do that pretty religiously.